Welcome back to the Paranormal Girl Podcast. I am your host, Kristen. On today's first October bonus episode, I am speaking with the President and Vice President of the Cryptoscience Society, Jason Cordova and Heather Metcalf. I had a blast speaking with these two, and I know you're going to enjoy learning what CSS is all about and some of the events in which they are involved. So, let's get right to it. Please enjoy my conversation with Heather and Jason from the Cryptoscience Society. So my guest today, soon to be guests, we'll talk about it, is going to be Heather to start out with from Cryptoscience Society. And soon, shortly, once he jumps on, hopefully we'll get Jason as well. Cryptoscience Society. Welcome, Heather. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having us. Excited to talk to you.
Yeah, so we're gonna learn all about Bitcoin today, everybody.
Oh, okay.
I blame my boyfriend. That was his joke.
You know, it's funny you should say that though, because we get so many scam emails from people trying to like who think that we're Bitcoin.
Oh no.
Yeah, like we had like a scam email that was like, I've got your passwords, so I'm gonna like hack all your stuff. And I was like, I don't know what you think that we are, but we're not what you think. We're not like cryptocurrency.
Oh no, that's people can be the worst. That's so
Yeah.
sketchy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we might actually have we're in the works a name change because the Cryptoscience Society keeps getting like crypto pops, and, like algorithms and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, are you rolling any ideas around possibilities yet? Or it's just kind of a...
We've got a few, and nothing really in the works yet. I do most of the digital media, like the thumbnails and stuff like that. So we kind of need to figure out like if we're going to come out with a new podcast, or we're doing a like something this weekend actually for International Ghost Hunting Day, if it's going to have like the old name on it or if it's going to have the new name. We haven't quite figured out exactly what it's going to be yet, but
Okay. And you mentioned something I did want to ask you about. Jason was talking about that International Ghost Hunting Day. We'll jump into that, but I was hoping maybe you could just introduce yourself a little bit to my audience.
Yeah, I'm Heather Metcalf, so I am the Vice President of Cryptoscience Society, and I'm currently going to school right now, so my time is kind of split between cryptoscience and getting an education. But right now we're kind of talking about the national, the Ghost Hunting Day, or I like calling it Paranormal Investigating. It's a little less aggressive, I feel like. But
It is, and we can talk about all the investigation stuff that you do and the work that you do. What is Cryptoscience Society? What do you guys do?
So we mostly look in and investigate like local phenomenon. Like I am in like charge of the Logan area. Jason does a lot of stuff in Estonia, and just kind of like paranormal investigating, like cryptids. So like we've got a Bigfoot person, we've got a paranormal person, we've got alien people. So it's like all these different cryptid paranormal like interests are kind of all in one place. And we make like the articles on their website, and we have like posts on social media, just kind of like educating the public.
Yeah. I was poking around on your website last night, and you guys cover a lot of subjects, and these articles are really, really good. You said you guys also, maybe not recently, but you also do like an adjacent podcast with it, just talking about those articles.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. I think we're on, I'm not sure where exactly we host our podcast, but we re-upload them in different places. YouTube is one of our main places, but yeah, so like we have a YouTube channel that people can go on and listen to the podcasts and learn more.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, I'll have to check it out. So you've got a different person for really, kind of an expert, so to speak, for each of these subjects. Are you looking for anything else? Any other subject experts to fill your team?
Well, mostly just like I'm personally looking for people in the Logan area, Logan, Utah, who want to do like paranormal investigating. So like if anybody wants to do that, you can hit up the Cryptoscience Society if you're in the Logan area.
And you're literally talking like paranormal investigating, like you like to go as a team and go into places.
Yeah, and it's definitely better to go as a team than by yourself because it's like there's several reasons. One of them is like safety. Another is like if you hear something or you experience something, someone else can collaborate or like tell if like, oh, that's just you, or like that's I hear it too, sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of back up the experience.
Yeah.
Do you generally think that it's better to have a larger team or just like a handful of people?
I mean, probably a handful of people. I think if it's like a larger team, it can end, just kind of getting chaotic.
Yeah, it can. I was just talking to a paranormal investigator buddy of mine, and he was talking about some investigations he went to. There was like 70 people in this building, and
Wow.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's got to be so chaotic. And I know how like quiet it's got to be, just
Yeah.
all those feet.
Looks like Jason is coming in.
Yeah, he's gonna connect here. So while he connects on the audio, so I was curious, and yeah, he's still connecting. So I was curious because you were talking about it. Well, it says it on your website. I noticed some kind of community involvement.
Yeah.
Is there what other like? Do you do functions? Do you do events? Anything like that?
Yeah, so Jason's probably the main guy that goes to like events and stuff. I believe he just did one on an alien convention, but he
Ooh.
he goes to a lot of them.
Okay. Is he the alien UFO guy?
I think so.
We'll have to ask him. Jason, are you with us?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, well, we don't have video, but I got a very cool Jason S. Cordova logo that everybody's gonna see. That's cool.
All right. Give me just a second for video from that.
It's okay. Oh, there
Oh,
he
How's
there
that?
he is.
is. Hello. Well, thank you for
Hello.
jumping on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Sorry for the delay.
Oh
No
no.
worries.
You're good. Heather and I got to talking, and yeah, we introduced her and started talking about CSS and your community involvement. Oh, I've got two of those. Cat just jumped up.
Yes.
But she said you might be the guy to talk to about all the community involvement that you guys do.
Yeah, I guess so. What I overheard the UFO alien stuff. I guess
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a reputation for being a bit too outspoken in that particular arena, maybe.
Oh, I don't think too outspoken is that's not a thing to me. I think it's wonderful just to get the information out there. What was the event that you went to recently?
I don't know. What were you specifically referring to, one, Heather?
I thought there was like a convention you just recently went to like a couple months ago. Am I mistaken in that?
Yeah, I don't think there was not a UFO
Or like a panel you
specifically.
did or something?
Well, there was one that we hosted,
Oh, okay.
the World UFO Day event.
Okay.
Oh, ooh.
That's probably what I
That
was thinking of.
yeah, we hosted a little bit of an event. The So you can it's actually it's on our YouTube. You can go check that out if you're interested. But basically, it was a event to commemorate World UFO Day, which is pretty much the celebration commemorating both the Kenneth Arnold sighting in 1947 and the incident in Roswell, New Mexico in
Also
1947.
in 1947. What's the whoa? I've never heard of the Kenneth Arnold. I'm not a huge into UFO alien
Hmm.
stuff. Not that I don't believe. I just haven't gotten there yet. What
Sure.
is that incident?
So in 1947, if just off the top of my head, I believe it was end of June 25th-ish, 1947, a private pilot by the name of Kenneth Arnold was flying his small plane near Mount Rainier, and he witnessed a series of objects that he described as resembling saucers. And that pretty much coined the term flying saucer. That was one of the first widely publicized sightings of what we now refer to as UFOs
Mm-hmm.
in the United States. And there were a number of other sightings throughout the country of similar types of objects. And then in early July of that same year, so we're just a couple weeks later, something happened in Roswell. The Army put out a press release announcing that they had potentially retrieved one of the flying discs that had been witnessed, and then not more than 24 hours later, they retracted said statement, saying it was a mistake, sorry. But of course, it kicked off a lot. So that kind of is kind of recognized as the birth of the UFO kind of phenomenon as we know it. And so that's what UFO Day is all about. So we had a few presentations, kind of a year in review, all the exciting UFO related news.
Oh, it's been a year, hasn't it?
Yeah. And just some discussion about the culture of UFO people and kind of what that all means. And then we also had a little correspondence from my cousin Alejandro Rojas, who is main editor for Open Minds Media. He also works with the International UFO Congress, and he was at the Roswell UFO Festival. So we did a little man on the street with him at Roswell UFO Festival.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, if you want to know more, by all means, please go check out our YouTube. We got it up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll be sure to include all the, at the end, the links and everything that people can go to check out what you guys do. Before we get too much further, since you did just join us, would you mind just introducing yourself generally to my audience? Let them know who you are.
Sure. My name is Jason Cordova. I'm the president and co-founder of the Crypto Science Society, an organization dedicated to study strange and unusual phenomena. We've started out as a student organization at the Metropolitan State University of Denver on July 6th, 2006. So remarkably coincidentally at the same on World UFO Day. AKA Roswell Day.
Yes, fate, destiny.
Right. Yeah. So we've been doing this for pretty close to it's a little over 16 years now.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. Have you both been there since the start?
I've kind of came in about 4 years ago, I think.
I think so. Yeah. There's a few folks who are still around. My partner, Savannah, has been with us since the beginning. And we've got a few folks who have come and gone. Jordan Dahl, you know from Werewolf Radar. He was one of the early officers of the club at Metro State. And so obviously we've kept in touch.
Yeah. I wondered how y'all knew each other.
Yeah, that's how.
Awesome. I'm putting the pieces together on my side. Awesome. Yeah, those guys are great. I just got to talk to Roger. Actually, I had him on my show. He's going to be part of the big October Spooktober celebration this year, as are you guys. You'll be in the lineup as well. But yeah, those guys are just so funny, fantastic people to know. And boy, they know a lot.
Yeah,
they cover a lot, just like you guys do. We were just talking about, all of the subjects that you cover, and it seems that you've got a different person for each of the subjects. Like you're the UFO guy, you got a cryptid people, and people really. Anybody listening, you got to check out their website. I was on there scrolling around, and some of these articles are just outstanding. And then you do sometimes like a podcast adjacent to it on YouTube and kind of talk about that, right? Do you two do that?
Yeah. You go ahead, Heather.
I was just gonna say I've been on a couple, but mostly I feel like Jason's show.
So Jason, so you're out in Estonia.
Yes.
Do you have a like people actually there with you that are part of the group as well, like Heather does?
Not exactly. No. So what I'm doing in Estonia is I am currently working on a master's degree in folklore. So while some of my folklorist colleagues have an interest, I wouldn't go so far as to say they're actively, helping out with the Crypto Science Society directly. But to that, with that in mind, what I do want to say that I think some of the skills that I have developed as a paranormal researcher have really translated well into folklore, and vice versa. I kind of think that the studying of folklore will deeply enrich my research on the paranormal side.
Absolutely. Do you know Christopher Balzano?
I believe he was yes, I think so. He was a guest on your program.
Yeah. He is a historical folklorist. He's your urban legend guy. Like he does very similar to what you were just describing. And yeah, I think it can only enrich your research and your work into it ultimately.
Now, I do also want to add a little point again, not to. I feel like it's very important. I personally don't feel comfortable calling myself a folklorist yet because I do not have that degree.
Right.
And I know there are researchers who are either self-proclaimed folklorists or have been granted that title by someone and kind of like the sound of it and like how it works. And yes, while what they do may be in line with that folklore, I do think it's important to respect the title and not take it on without actually doing the work that it takes to earn it.
The paranormal is kind of rife with a lot of positions like that. For instance, demonology, being a demonologist, like people like the sound of that title, what exactly that means, or whether or not you've earned it or not. But yeah, I do see what you're saying. I understand, and I absolutely respect that. Yeah, I think people gotta earn it. Like if you're gonna bring any credibility to this world.
And yes, and actually a kind of funny part of the reason I was late was actually the head of the department of folkloristics is a academic demonologist. His thesis, his body of research is on demonology. In fact, he has a copy of the Hammer of the Witches, the Malleus Maleficorum.
Oh yeah,
on the bookshelf in his office. And they were just having a birthday. They gave him hosted a birthday conference in his honor. And he was gifted a copy of Good Omens as as part of it. But that was actually why I was late, because I lost track of the time because I was celebrated with the resident demonologist.
So cool. All right. Well, I was curious because you guys are also seem to be so very heavily involved in this society, Crypto Science Society. Do your individual members do they do their own like side projects outside of the actual group, or does it all kind of culminate into the society's work?
Yes and no. I would say that kind of ultimately the vision of the society is that it is a group of people who have diverse interests, and everybody is welcome to contribute however they feel compelled to. So whether that means spawning a side project to all of the things that we do, these events, these special events, the podcast itself, these are all projects through the society or with the society that further the goals, and the interests in line with the interests of the members.
I don't know. We're all here because we're interested, in the cryptids. And so like I kind of have some of my own side projects, some of them, working, some of them not working, but
Ooh, you want to share any of those? What you working
well,
on?
I was well, like I said before, I'm trying to kind of establish a team here in Logan, but I had an investigation that I was filming, and I was going to turn it into a YouTube video, but it ended up kind of going belly up because there was paranormal like experiences there, but the person who had brought us there, he was a prospective member, he was trying to get like involved. He was an impulsive liar, so he added a lot to what was not there. And I think actually, ironically, at one point looking back, the ghosts were actually trying to tell us that he was not being like he was. I think they were offended by how he was like telling so many, like he was like making it really dark and like just not what it was. Like they were not like that. They were spirits that were not of darkness, and he was trying to make it like they were of darkness. And I think I was definitely offended afterwards, and I think that the spirits were offended too.
Oh, wow. How were they trying to tell you?
They were trying to like direct us to like certain things, like he was saying like, oh, this is haunted, like this happened here. And they were like we were using a spirit box app, which surprisingly apps actually can be very useful tools. I have I think it's I have a list. Jason knows where it's posted, but we had a list of like apps that specifically are good that we've used in investigations. But they were like giving us like words, trying to direct us, like trying to give us like hints. I can't exactly remember what the words were, but like for instance, he was trying to tell us that he had like these arrowheads that he bought at like a store. He was trying to say us like, oh, I took it from like an Indian burial ground. And like they were like trying to tell us like, no. No.
So you were able to look back at the end of it and be like, oh, kind of, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's talking about paranormal investigating. That does lead me into something I wanted to ask you both about International Ghost Hunting Day. Now we are recording this the day before, so people will learn about it after the fact. But do tell me about this International Ghost Hunting Day, please.
Do you want to go? Or
Well, I
Either
can
of
tell.
you.
Okay.
You both jump in.
We are doing a live stream of an investigation with one of our members. That's going to be tomorrow. I'm sure there's probably even people watching after the fact can probably find it and watch the recording. But I think it's at I think she's starting at like 8. So she's got I believe she's got a shop that has a lot of paranormal experiences that happen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so one of our members, Heidi Gad, she's her main gig is sound editing and music. She's a rock star violinist. She owns a music shop, and it's haunted. So she's volunteering her shop to do a live stream of an investigation. She invested her own money in some equipment, and she has gone through the training process for our investigators, and we've talked extensively about the right ways and the wrong ways to do it. And that's the event, and that's really kind of the essence of the International Ghost Hunting Day. It was kind of created by some American paranormal researchers in the interest of paranormal unity, in order to just do a massive ghost hunt throughout the country, throughout the world. And that's our contribution.
Wow. So people are celebrating this worldwide.
Ideally, yeah. I mean, yes, obviously we in our own group are pretty widespread.
Yeah.
And the idea is intended to have it go worldwide. Honestly, I'm not sure how much beyond us it is going to be worldwide, but hopefully we can push it that way.
Well, you're participating though. That is so cool. So it is every September 24th.
It's the last Yeah, it's actually the last Saturday in
Oh,
September.
okay. Last Saturday in September every year. How long has that been around?
A few years. I don't know exactly, but I want to say at least 3, maybe 5. It's
Mm-hmm.
not very old.
Okay, okay. It's new. Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think I was actually reading something that I thought was interesting, that it was like paying homage to the spiritualist movement in like the 1800s, like the original, when people started getting interested in paranormal investigating. And there was a lot of fraud going on, but there were actually people who were experiencing things and actually going in and like writing books about the topics. And I think that's also something that on this day we kind of remember, is the people who came before us and the people who started it, the people who were like, hey, there's something going on. Like, I know people are like afraid of like that certain place because they've seen things, but like, let's actually study it. Let's actually write it down.
Yeah, yeah, no, there were some real pioneers, and I agree with you. I think there were things going on, and people were actually experiencing this stuff, and unfortunately there was a lot of fraud at that time that has done a bit of a disservice to the entire subject. Just going through some of that actually for this season, I'm researching psychics and mediums, so I did talk about the spiritualism movement for a minute.
Yeah.
Like your ectoplasm episode.
Did you like that?
I did. I like that.
Did you like the unintended drinking game? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I have to watch that one.
Yeah. That was there was some unexpected information I came across, and I'm still a little traumatized.
Oh no.
What has been seen cannot be unseen.
I can't unknow it. Well, okay, so that was International Ghost Hunting Day, but there is something coming up. I didn't know it was a thing, and I want you guys to talk about it. Sasquatch Awareness Day.
Yeah, that's another one. Another one that's like, yeah. So kind of in a similar way to the World UFO Day, it's commemorating a seminal event in the field. I'm sure everyone with the slightest bit of interest in cryptid research is familiar with the Patterson-Gilman film,
Right.
depicting some sort of bipedal hominid creature crossing a riverbank, and that was recorded on October 20th, 1967, I think. Don't hold me to the year, but
Yeah,
I know
I
it's
can't remember.
October.
You're close. Yeah. I can't remember.
Yeah. Late 60s, 70s, maybe, but I'm 67 seems to stand out in my mind. At any rate, that's the day. That's the big day. So that's why Sasquatch Awareness Day is celebrated then. And so we're going to do that. Similar, we've got our guy, Jim Brown, who has done a lot of, he used to be involved with an organization called SIR, Sasquatch Investigations of Colorado. Yeah, and the acronym doesn't match, but I do know that it had something specifically to do with Sasquatch Investigations in Colorado.
Yuck.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and look it up, or we'll ask him. But anyway, a lot of time in the field. He's done a lot of the field work, and that's how we actually met, because both of our partners were involved in Eastern European folk ensemble, and so we knew each other from that, and then we ran into each other at a event sponsored by the Bailey Bigfoot Outpost in Colorado, and we kind of outed each other there. It's like, oh, hello, fancy meeting you here. And then the rest was history with that one.
Yeah. Wow. What do you each like generally think? What's your takeaway about that Patterson Gimlin footage? What do you think about it?
I actually live in a town that we have a canyon called Providence Canyon, and the show Finding Bigfoot has actually been here. And if you walk around town, you'll eventually find like people who have experiences. I've heard several experiences from people that I personally know that are like, yep, he's in there, or there's a, Sasquatch, Bigfoot up there. And they're like I've heard people being like, they've been in Providence Canyon, like in their car, and they were doing like a camping trip or something, and all of a sudden like the lights go out and they like look down the road and there's like this big figure of like a silhouette, and they're like, okay, it's time to go, like we're getting out of here.
Whoa.
So I don't personally have any experiences, but I've had
Yeah.
like other people tell me around town about their experiences.
Okay. So you're fully into the cryptid. Like you think there's something to this. You think it's real. We just haven't maybe officially discovered it yet, kind of
I
thing.
think there's enough people that have seen some sort of large humanoid thing up there that there's got to be some sort of either, people just getting it in their head, going up there that there is a Sasquatch and seeing something and being like, oh, that's Sasquatch, or like they're actually seeing something.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the same place there. Like I haven't personally had any cryptid experiences, but it's one of those subjects that there is so much supporting accounts and experience, stories, that kind of thing, that you can't ignore it. You can't ever like not know that now. Like it's like there's something to it. Jason, what do you think about that footage and the subject of Bigfoot cryptids in general? Oh no!
Oh no, we can't hear you.
He lost his sound. Oh no, he's gonna.
There I am.
There we go.
It is.
All
Okay.
right, go for it.
Before I answer that question, though, if I can ask Heather a follow-up question, because this isn't a question that we haven't gotten a chance to really talk about this.
Okay.
As our data analyst, as a film, I'm sure you've seen it, you've looked at it, you analyze a lot of our pictures and data, and I wonder if you've looked at it in that light, and if so, what kind of thoughts or impressions you have on it.
Well, the only real thing that I can tell is it's not edited, but it's like anybody can put like a gorilla suit on and walk, past like an unfocused camera. It's hard to say, but I think I don't know, you think that you would take the picture, the footage, and like people's experiences, and like, is it like hysteria? Is it like people actually seeing something, kind of like what I was saying? But I don't think that the photo is doctored. Is that the right word? Is it? I don't know if okay, cool. I just want to make sure. But I don't think it's like edited. But like I said, it's easy to fake a photo, like wearing a costume or something like that. But I think there's enough people that believe in it.
Cool. So I will use that analysis as a springboard for my response to your question. Then I do think that the video is real. I think it's a genuinely it's taken a picture of something crossing that river. There's been so much attention given to it, analyzation, stabilization, remasterings, all that, and even analysis by Dr. Meldrum at the University of, where's he based? Iowa, I think.
I can look it up. We know.
We're Dr. Meldrum. He's the main UFO guy.
Anyone listening is probably familiar with that name anyway. Yeah, what he does.
So at me with Dr. Meldrum's credentials. Basically, where I'm at with that is there are too many details for it to be simply a guy in a suit. One of them specifically being that it appears to depict a female, right? General misogyny. Who would really think to fake a video of a female Bigfoot?
That's a very, very good point. Yes.
Right? Two, there are little details about the way that she is walking. There are details about the gait, the way that the weight appears to be transferring with each step. And that combined with the plaster casts and measurements that Patterson and Gilman took of the track, because she left tracks when she walked, and they took measurements of that too. It all, it's multiple pieces of evidence that are backing up. Now, of course, from a very strict scientific point of view, we can't verify it for two reasons, because we do not have a physical sample of the creature who created it, right? So we don't have anything directly to compare it to. And two, it can't be repeated. So that kind of takes a big element of science out of the running. But combined with everything else, it's, at least for me, sufficient to say, yeah, I think that's probably a genuine video of the creature most people recognize as Sasquatch.
Can I just add to that? Like, I was thinking while he was saying that I've never heard that before. And it's interesting because the first like pop culture reference that we get of Sasquatch is like people making jokes about it. And so it's like maybe that also contributes to the non-belief of it, because it's like when you make a joke about it, it makes it more ridiculous. It makes it more, but having like that information, it does seem like if you look into it, it could be possible.
Yeah. And it's, it's tough for just regular everyday people to swallow this thing. So yeah, the very thought in most regular people's head that this cannot be real is obviously contributing to that, not inability to believe it or think it's fake or whatever, because it can't, logically it can't, right? But people have tried to reproduce it, right? Jason or Heather, like I seem to recall people trying to do it and just not quite able to replicate it.
Right. Yeah. In kind of ridiculous, like in comically ridiculous ways, like,
yeah.
But it has not been able to be recreated the same way.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask, Jason, do you do most of the writing for the articles on the site?
I would have to go back and actually count. More recently, I have been doing more of the writing.
Okay.
If my name is on it, then yes.
You did it.
If it's generally, the easiest way to tell is if my name's on it, I'm the one who wrote it. Whoever name is on it is the one who wrote it. We try to give credit where credit's due. If it's multiple writers, like the ones that Heather and I have both jointly written, then it's just credited. Our byline's there, but generally it's attributed to the Crypto Science Society. There's a few articles that were written by folks when we were still at Metro State, and they were comfortable with sharing it, but they requested that their names not be used. So those are just generally credited to the Crypto Science Society.
Okay, well, I was just curious because you've got some really interesting, and they're all so different. Like I saw something about La Llorona and witches, and you're talking about cryptids. Like who decides those topics to really dive into and talk about like that?
Everybody. If we have somebody wants to write something, it's fair game. Like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody says I want. So
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I have a topic I've actually mentioned to Jason before a few years ago. I still haven't gotten to doing it yet, but I would like to do one about the history of witchcraft and how it has like changed to like modern witchcraft.
Ooh, yeah.
Because it kind of touches on it in that Halloween one that I wrote, but like I was writing it and I was doing a bunch of research and I was like, oh my gosh, this would make like an entire research paper. I can't put all of this in the Halloween episode. So maybe sometime in the future I'll actually get around to doing that one, because I feel like there's a lot more acceptability to like witches today. Like there's still like the hyper religious people that are like, oh, like you're going to the bad place and all that stuff.
It's
but
the
like,
devil's work. You're working with demons. And because witchcraft, of course, that still carries with it this connotation and this old terrible stereotype, when it just, from what I understand, it just was not that way. So I'm sure some darker stuff was going on, in a smaller capacity, but it just wasn't that way, and that's not what it was about and for. I've got a good friend who is he's a Santero, and he is involved in that community, in the witchcraft community and all of that.
Yeah.
And everything that he does comes from a place of love and caring and safety and just
Yeah.
good positive things. And it just kills me that there's still this, very fundamental faith-based idea about it, that it's bad or dark or negative, and it's just,
Yeah.
not that way from what I've seen. So I hope you do
Yeah.
get to write that.
Yeah. Well, I have personal experience too in the community, and I feel like what people don't understand is there's rules, there's like unspoken rules that like if you do bad on someone, it will come back to you. That's
Yeah.
just kind of karma, and that's reflected in multiple religions around the world, that what you reap you will sow.
Right.
And I feel like the persecution of witches in history was mostly scapegoating, like, oh, that woman, she's on land that I want, and if I
Yeah.
get her trialed as a witch, I can get her land. Or people just not understanding, like there's a lot of women who did plant medicine that were told that they were a witch, but like if a man did it, it was completely normal.
Yeah. Yes. Get people to fear anything for any reason at all, and you've got control. You've got the
Yeah.
control. You got the power. Yeah, that's a personal desire of mine, to see that fear removed from the paranormal world, period, this entire
Mhm.
subject, period, because the fear is preventing us from learning more about it. And
Yeah.
and they don't, there's people, it behooves them for us to not know more about these subjects, because
Yeah.
once we know, then we realize, there's nothing to fear.
Yeah.
And somebody loses control. So
I think with the paranormal investigating in particular too, like if you go into it with fear, that's what you're going to get reflected back at you.
right.
Like you go in, you're going to look for, oh, like I'm going to get attacked, or like this is going to happen, and you're going to be opening yourself up to that, and it's more
Yeah.
likely to happen. So it's
Yeah.
like if you go in like with your heart open, and it's like this is going to be a good experience, I'm going to like show love and like be tolerant and nice, and that's what you're going to get. Like usually like we kind of mentioned before, ghosts are like people. If you treat them like an asshole, they're going to be assholes back. So it's like
Well,
people.
yeah, and like you got to think, like, just because, even if you do encounter something that is negative or could be called something that's dark, does that mean evil? Does that mean bad? I personally
Yeah.
don't believe so, but you go on investigations more than I do.
Yeah, well, I think darkness is subjective. I think that there are things that you can experience in the dark that you can't necessarily experience in the light. I think if you do delve into the dark, you have to be very careful,
Mhm.
because sometimes you encounter spirits that are like going to attach to you and be like, this is good stuff, I want more of it. And that's something that you always want to be careful of, because spirits can be known to cause attachments. And if you have like a spirit attachment, it can be hard to get rid of.
Hitchhiker effect is
Yes.
huge.
Absolutely. I can't believe I didn't ask this before. I always do, and we just kind of got talking on other things. But have either of you had like any personal experience with the paranormal? Like what got you involved? What got you fascinated?
So I come from a sensitive family. All the women in my family have sensitivities. I grew up very clairaudient, and like I used to hear people calling my name as a child, and I'd like go downstairs and be like, Mom, why are you calling my name? And she's like, not there. And it's like, so
Oh.
I had an interest growing up, and I started opening myself up to that more. And I have several experiences. I got very interested in like testing it like scientifically. I had like spirits appearing in my room, and I'd be like, I can see you. Can you see me? And he'd like get up like real close to me, like look at me like this, and then he'd just disappear. I'm like,
Wow.
okay. And there was another experience where I saw a spirit, and I'm talking about it with my mom. She thinks it was her father, because he had like this really wide brim white cowboy hat, and he was tall, and she's like, that's what your grandpa used to look like before he got older. And he showed up in my kitchen, and I was like, wait right here, I want to try, like I want to test a theory. And he actually like waited, and I came back with a candle, and I was like, I didn't tell him what to do. I just put the candle in front of him. I lit the candle, and he kind of like put his hands around it like this. And then he was able to push my mom's purse on the counter like several inches. So I was like testing the theory that like when you go into investigations, you'll notice like sometimes your cameras will be depleted and like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to see if spirits, instead of taking energy from candles or from electronics and like people, if they could harness that energy from a flame. And he was able to do that.
Oh, so interesting. Oh my gosh. Okay. What about you, Jason?
Yeah. I've
You're
had
just
a
like,
few.
yes, end of story.
I've had a few. What got me into it, I guess, like the early days. Again, like Heather, my family is very, we'll say, open to it culturally. My grandma, my dad, my great grandma, even. I had conversations with my great grandma, and she talked about how she was, every time a relative passed away, they would come back to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of freaky. And we even had kind of we made a deal. She said, whichever one of us goes first, that we would come back and say goodbye in a way that wouldn't freak us out.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed away in 1996, I knew, like, I woke up, I remember my dad came to my bedroom door and said, Grandma passed away last night. And I just like felt like, yeah, I know. But later on, we did a rosary. It's a Catholic tradition where family members sit in the church and pray the rosary, dedicated specifically to the individual who passed away. And after that ceremony, we came home, and every single music box in the house was playing.
Whoa.
And continued playing for about 30 seconds to a minute or so after we came inside.
Yeah.
And, I get chills, just talking about it. And I knew, we all just knew, like, that doesn't happen, right?
Yeah.
That just doesn't randomly happen.
No.
And that was, a clear sign and a clear message for me.
Mm-hmm.
Other things similarly throughout my life, I've had dreams. I've seen shadows, encountered various things, of course, through investigations too. But that, as far as like paranormal stuff, that's probably one of the earliest, most dramatic ones.
Yeah, I can imagine that would instill in you, at the very least, like an openness, a belief that there is more. Let's look into it a little bit deeper. Yeah.
If you think about it from a scientific aspect, science tells us that energy is neither created nor destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So that energy has to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just stop existing.
Yeah, there's I am a huge fan of like scientific backing to all of this. Like, you can have the belief and you can have the faith, and that is great. But without the science, like we were talking about before we started recording, without that science, it's just very hard to bridge that gap. And like, we want to bring this more so into like a mainstream, like we can openly converse about this and kind of bring it to a public awareness, to the point where they understand that this is happening and this is real. And I think the way that we're going to do that is with, just scientific facts, like what you just said about the, conservation of energy, neither created nor destroyed, just transferred, something like that. I can't remember how it goes, but yeah. And there's just so many of those. I'm a huge fan of learning things like that do, and I use it often on the show, that do support different paranormal phenomena, because something is going on. It's just a matter of proving it.
And
just prove it.
Another thing that was actually in my physics, I took a physics class this last semester, and it was interesting because like I constantly have that kind of mindset, like the spiritual sort of mindset. And so I was like looking at it from like that sort of perspective. And my teacher was like, energy is in everything. There's energy, electricity, and literally everything.
Yeah.
And like, you can take something and rub it against this thing, and now it's electrically charged. And
Right.
can I just say, I keep seeing there's like orbs. I don't know if you,
Orbs. Yeah.
has anybody ever mentioned the orbs before?
Oh, just a few times.
You must
I
have a guardian.
I don't know who it is. We just moved into this place not that long ago. It was just a couple of months ago, and I decided to renovate this outside. It's like an adjacent connecting shed, old shed. It was gross in here before. Now I've got acoustic tiling up, and I redid the walls and put drywall, all of that. So I revamped the space, hopefully brought in some new energy, and hopefully they like it, whoever it is. I have felt things here since moving here, but nothing bad, nothing weird. They don't steal my stuff, nothing imports. So I hope whoever it is that they like it. But thank you for mentioning on air. I'm glad somebody said, because people keep waiting until after we're done recording. They're like, so I didn't want to scare you, but you got like orbs and stuff in there.
Yeah, that's the third orb, and then right after I mentioned it, it made like a streak, and it got like excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, she sees me.
Did you see it, Jason?
Yeah, I did. And if I can pass that right back to you, what are your experiences? What have you seen, encountered?
Oh boy. Well, interesting, because for the longest time I didn't think I had ever experienced anything, and that's why I kind of kept this idea, this self-description of skeptical. Like I believed, but I was so skeptic because nothing had ever happened to me.
The skeptical believer.
Yes, the skeptical believer. But interestingly enough, after starting this show, these memories started coming back, and I was able to like sit there and just be like, oh, that did happen. Oh, that happened too. Oh, I had that dream. So I don't know why it's like it just keeps coming back too. Like I'll get new memories all the time of like, oh my God, I was 7 and that that weird thing, and I couldn't explain it, and I just went on with my life. Like, so strange. Yeah, I've had like precognitive dreams. I've had 2 specifically that I can distinctly remember. I had a couple of, I guess, what you could call encounters with like shadowy entities of some sort. One story, I have told it before. I do like it just because it is the most like dramatic story. And it happened when I was a teenager in high school, and I woke up one night, middle of the night. I didn't know what time it was, middle of the night. I knew it was like early morning. And I saw this like entity person at the foot of my bed. And I could kind of partially see her, but she was kind of like shrouded in this moving shadow. But I could still make out who it was. I thought it was my friend from school. And I was like staring at her, and I go, what are you doing here? Because she's standing in my room, and she didn't say anything. And in that moment, like I got that like that twist of fear, like, oh, this isn't my friend. This is something else. And I was trying to my mind was racing, like, okay, this is kind of scaring me. Like, I gotta just keep this going, play it cool, so this thing doesn't know that I now know it's not my friend. And so, like, real quick, I was like, what time is it? Just trying to keep the conversation going. And I remember I used to have this bedside like nightstand, and on it was a digital clock right by my left shoulder. And the thing like looked down and then looked back up at me, and she says, it's 3:50. And she said it in my friend's voice, like everything was the same. And as soon as she said it's 3:50, like I got that feeling of like just falling right back into sleep, like being pulled into sleep. And I'm like in my head, I'm like, don't fall asleep, it's still there. And as soon as my head hit the pillow, like immediately all sleepiness, grogginess went away. I sat straight up in bed, and I'm looking around, nothing's out of place. There's no thing at the foot of my bed, nothing. And I'm like, ugh, God, what a weird dream. And I lay back down, and I turn over on my side, and I'm staring right at the clock, and it says 3:50. So that was like when I remembered that had happened. I don't know why I pushed it down and away when I was younger, but like it still sends chills up my spine because I can't really explain it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was, probably the most dramatic story that happened to me, but I've experienced.
Wow.
other maybe entities, darker entities, and I've seen shadows and shadowy critters like crawling around too. So
That's a
yeah.
good one. And as an investigator and spending a lot of time like interviewing people and talking to people, and when they share their experiences, right? I can tell that it has an emotional, the way that you speak when you're sharing it, it definitely is holding some kind of emotion for you.
It
And
certainly packs a punch a little bit for me. Yeah. No.
yeah. And probably maybe it lends itself a little bit to why maybe you pushed it out. Maybe set it aside.
Yeah. Yeah.
How old were
Yeah.
you?
It was 14 or 15. Yeah. So
Mm.
it's still, yeah, like mid-teens. Yeah, around that time. The thing was like in that particular house, a bunch of other stuff, weird stuff happened. Like it's gonna sound weird, but I woke up one time in the middle of the night and had a full-on conversation with my dogs that were sleeping down. Like they were talking to me, and like I had this ventriloquist. I did ventriloquism at the time, and I had this ventriloquist doll sitting on a shelf by my bed. And I woke up one time, and its mouth started flapping, like just on its
Wow.
own. I did some automatic writing. Oh, this place, I know now I'm on a roll.
No, yeah,
This
I'd
place,
never had anything happen, but oh yeah, there's that one time.
oh, that one. Oh,
And
yeah,
then that one,
yeah,
and then
right.
that one.
The skeptical, yeah, tagline. No, I don't believe. But, yeah, this place in general had a very heavy, heavy feeling to it, just always. And about a year after we moved out, my family moved out, this place burned to the ground. Like,
Whoa.
yeah. So there was a lot of just weird stuff, maybe attached to the house or the land. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, no.
Yeah, no, yeah.
All right. Enough about me. We are rounding the corner here to the end. I just had one more specific question for you. I was curious, where do you guys see CSS for the future? What are the plans? The hopes, the
Good
dreams?
question. Heather, I'll let you start with that.
Well, like I said earlier, we're always looking for new members. We love, having activities to do and being involved and educating the public. So just kind of growing. We have some merch out right now. Our very first merch. We've got some tops, some like tank tops and sweaters and shirts and stuff like that. I forget what's the name of the website that it's on, Jason?
It's on Bonfire. They're all it's ethically sourced and kind of on demand.
I've actually got mine. If you guys want to see it real quick,
yeah,
one second. I'll be right back. Okay,
yeah.
1 second.
So we got hoodies, we got t-shirts, we got what is it, tank tops. We got a journal, a field journal.
You
for your
got
investigations.
you got your yeah, you got to have a journal on these. You got to make some notes. What you got?
I got in purple. Is our logo.
Which you designed, by the way.
Yeah,
did you design that?
I designed this logo here.
That's so cool. It just stands out, grabs your attention. I love the logo.
She is the graphic designer. All of the most, unless otherwise stated, Heather is the genius behind the images.
Very cool. Well, Jason, what are your hopes for CSS? What do you?
Well, I hope to see Heather running it.
Oh.
Honestly, no. I've done this for quite some time, and I am. I would love to see people come up and take it on. I don't need to be on the forefront forever. And I it would make me so happy to see the members, Heather included, and anybody that's involved to kind of take on more projects and more roles and to take it in whatever direction they want it to be. I feel like I've had plenty of time to steer it in the direction that I have, and I'm very happy with where it is and what it's become and everything that it's been. I just hope it continues. I look forward to seeing it continue in whatever form it may take.
Yeah, well, I have no doubt that it is going to continue. My hopes for the future of Crypto Science Society is that it does, of course, continue on in even wider scope and gets all widespread and just, takes over the world, worldwide phenomenon, because you guys are doing some incredible work over there, and I want to see more
Thank
of
you.
it. So here at the end of these episodes, I do like to throw some speed round questions at you, just real quick. Don't even think about it, and
Cool.
then we'll close it out. So I guess we can just kind of go back and forth. Whoever wants to answer. What? Let's see. Who was and is your biggest inspiration in the paranormal world?
I'd have to say Steve Huff. I kind of talked to you a little bit about him before. He makes his own spirit boxes, and they look like little amps, and he is very about being respectful and about the light and bringing the light. He meditates during his sessions, and he brings the light for people. I don't know exactly how he does it, but he's able to like help people cross over. And he seems to be somewhat well known in the spiritual world, like the actual other side. They know him. So he is what kind of turned me from looking at these like paranormal investigations that really kind of are very aggressive, and kind of turned me away from that and being like, oh, there's another way. You can be respectful and still get reactions and evidence.
Okay, Jason.
And mine is my cousin, mentor, and Crypto Science Society Advisor General Alejandro Thaddeus Rojas, the Open Minds Media and International UFO Congress. He's guided me as a researcher since we were kids, and he's more of a sibling cousin in a lot of ways, and a friend and a good mentor in the organization. As far as a researcher, he exemplifies that idea of the skeptical believer in all the best ways, and he does it with integrity. He doesn't, when there is drama, he does his best to just stand his ground and be, he sticks to his belief and his research, and it has proven itself to be the best way to do it. So I have all the respect for him, and he got me into this mess. And blame him every day.
I'd also like to add that, Jason, you are definitely a huge inspiration for me.
Oh, get out of here.
Jason brought me kind of into this in a more organized fashion. Before, it was just kind of like, oh, this happens. But Jason kind of gave me direction and ambition.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, we are running long today, so I'm just going to do one more for you. What is a belief about the paranormal or supernatural that has changed thanks to your involvement with CSS?
I'd say just being respectful. Like I said, I was very into like the, like Ghost Adventures and stuff like that, where they are very rude to ghosts, but they are people. They're just people that have crossed over, and being respectful and approaching it from that standpoint, instead of like, you can be filled with like wonder and like, but don't necessarily be like fearful or aggressive, because they're not that sort of thing. They're people.
Jason?
Yeah. my super theory of super everything. Basically, my overall kind of view of what the paranormal may be or what it is not, and the interconnectedness of it all. That's what has changed. When earlier on, I thought, very specifically, well, like this, this is cryptid stuff. Those are actually definitely always a hidden or unknown species of animal that we just haven't documented yet. And ghosts are always just like, this is a paranormal, very, very meticulously categorized everything. And now I think it's the more I know, we have no idea what's happening, right? The more I learn about it, so much. And same thing with like the government disclosure stuff with UFOs and all that. I think that there's less understanding than we always thought it was. And at this point, I'll keep the actual details of the theory, for another time, because we don't have time for it. But I think that, the biggest change or shift in my opinion and view of all of it is that it's more interconnected than we ever thought, and we know far less about it than we think we do.
No, I couldn't agree more. All right, you guys, where can folks find more about Cryptoscience Society? Where would you like them to connect?
Everywhere. We are omnipresent. Look over your shoulder.
Just look to the sky and ask. Yes.
Over your shoulder, and I'll be standing right there. Internet, Linktree at Cryptoscience Society. I think that's what it is. Is it, Heather?
I feel like it's something different because Cryptoscience Society was taken.
Oh, no, that's right. Yes, it's Linktree Paracryptology. That's right, because it's all of it. Linktree Paracryptology. And Cryptoscience Society, our website, it's CSS Strange, I think, is our hashtag on all the face tubes and the Twittergrams and,
Tweetospheres, yeah, no.
Yes,
right.
yes.
All right, yes. Now we'll be linking all of that in the merch is included. There's a link to it on the website as well, right?
Yeah, okay. The Linktree is it's the one-stop shop. That's the easiest way.
Okay. Did you guys want to throw out your personal accounts? Any account you want to toot the horn on? Get some listeners over there?
Just keep an eye out for our podcasts. I know we haven't done them in a while, but when we do, they're pretty fun on YouTube. We usually post them on YouTube.
And anywhere you get your podcasts.
All right. Well, I told Heather about this. This will be fun for you, Jason, to come up with something on the spot. But I usually close these episodes out with a final thought, words of wisdom, any advice that you would like to leave with everyone.
I would just say kind of like, I don't know, if you're interested in doing paranormal investigating or just don't, like we were kind of talking about, don't go into it with fear. Make sure that you have your defense against the dark arts, as I call it, make sure that you're protected, you have your rituals, and you aren't going to get yourself in trouble because it's a very unknown field and we are learning more about it. But just like you wouldn't go out and without any protection outside, like you want to be protected in this as well, but to also not go in with fear, if that's,
Ride the fine line. All right.
Hold boundaries, I guess, is what, like, have healthy boundaries with the paranormal.
Yeah.
No DIY exorcisms, please.
No.
Please, if you think you have a demon, please get an expert.
Yes, please.
That's my word of advice.
Very
it is okay
advice.
To ask for help. Do not try to do an exorcism yourself.
Bad things happen. Very good advice. Thank you, Heather Metcalf and Jason Cordova from Cryptoscience Society for joining me today. Everybody go check out their stuff, buy their merch, follow them, get on YouTube, all the things. Thank you guys so much. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Hope to do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Thanks once again to Heather and Jason for joining me. If you would like to learn more about Cryptoscience Society, their events, investigations, research, articles, and podcast, please check out their links I've included in the show notes. And be sure to follow them on all of their socials and get involved, folks. If you would like to watch this conversation, you enjoyed it so much, you want to see these orbs that Heather mentioned? Yes, I do have orbs on my end. It's been mentioned to me numerous times now by my guests. I have uploaded the video of this show to the Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, you can watch the full, unedited visual treat of all of my conversation episodes moving forward.
I'm going to start uploading the backlog of previous convos too once October has passed and things settle, so you'll get to catch those as well. But yes, moving forward, Patreon is where you can capture full-on proof that I am not, in fact, recording my show in my underwear in my mom's basement, my present to you. Next week, I am joined once again by author and medium Rob Guttrow. We'll be chatting about a couple of his books from his On a Medium's Vacation series. Really good stuff. Looking forward to it. Have a great weekend, you guys. And, of course, stay safe, keep the nightlight on, and sleep with one eye open.